Hello, this is Angela with Permaculture. I want to give a little warning before I start this video. We are going to talk about gross stuff. In particular, flies, maggots, chicken poop, and raw meat. It's a really lovely evening here in Portland, Oregon in Zone 8B. Standing in the backyard of my permaculture... Hi, Bra. I'm standing in the backyard of my permaculture garden. This is the rain garden here. You can see my crocosmia is a little out of control, and I'm going to be dividing that significantly later this year. Got a little too big for this space. You can see the annual veggie garden behind it, and around the perimeter of the property, this way and all the way around this way, is the U-shaped orchard that I have here that allows the sun to filter in to the middle of the garden where those sun-loving annuals can drink up all that sunshine and produce lots of food for. The reason that I'm out here this evening, by the way, the last couple of evenings, it's like felt a little bit like autumn. You feel that tiny tinge of crispness to the air, and there's just a little bit of a chill in the breeze that says like summer is starting to wind down and you can look forward to autumn. And I'm one of those people that really loves autumn. I know I'm like a basic white girl, but I love the summer. I love every season, but about this time in August, I start to really look forward to the arrival of autumn. So those late summer evenings that feel just a little bit extra crisp and a little bit chilly, those are my favorite because I know that we're starting to move into a new season. So while I'm out here, I wanted to open a package that came in the mail today. When you have poultry in your garden, and when you have particularly an urban garden or any garden where you have things that have been thrown out of balance, where you are trying to regenerate and heal your garden and restore balance, but you're not quite there yet, or there are factors beyond your control, such as, again, urban setting, you can't control what happens with your neighbors, you can't control what happens on a community-wide scale, you are probably going to end up with a fly problem in the summer. Hot, sunny weather, the flies really proliferate. And we have black soldier flies here, which are native and really beneficial, and they don't worry me at all. And then you have the biting flies and the house flies, and they just go for the chicken run. In an ideal system, I would have loads of amphibians here, I would have loads of birds, and I would also have those parasitoid wasps that prey on those species of flies. Now, I do have some of those things, but I don't have a sufficient population to control a boom in the flies that I have. And there are many reasons why that is. Our amphibian populations are significantly depleted because of cats, because of pesticides in our waterways because of habitat destruction. A lot of the songbirds are depressed. In fact, many species of songbirds are in crisis because of things like cat predation, because of habitat destruction. So there isn't sufficient population of those predators to keep any fly population in check. But I have poultry, and they poop, and flies love poop. They love poultry poop in particular. And so you end up getting them breeding on site, and you need to deal with them. So in an ideal permaculture world, I would say, how is the problem the solution? How can I restore balance? Sometimes it is not possible within the context of your garden, within its greater context of the city, to be able to restore balance 100%. Now, there are many things that I can do to try and bring the fly population back down to an acceptable level for myself, for my neighbors. I can purchase beneficial parasitoid wasps and release them into the garden on a cycle. And that's a way that I use a biological control that naturally should be in the landscape. And I try and boost those numbers in the habitat here. Much like you would purchase ladybugs if you were trying to help the ladybug population recover and deal with your aphids. There's also good old-fashioned fly traps. Obviously, you can use sticky tape, like a fly paper. I'm gonna caution against that very strongly in the poultry run, and I will tell you why. Maybe 10 years ago, we did that in a summer that was particularly bad for flies. When you have fly paper hanging, and you have flies stuck to it, and you have poultry that are not the sharpest tacks in the box, they're going to do their darndest to jump up there and get a nice little snack of flies. And we had one particularly not bright chicken. She was a salmon faverol. Salmon faverols, in my experience, they're a breed I would not get anymore for many reasons. I actually talk about it in a chicken video somewhere. she managed to somehow, despite having clipped wings, get up very high and get entangled in fly paper. And that was a disgusting, disgusting chore for me to untangle and bathe her and get all the flies and stickiness off of her. So yeah, I don't want to do that again. So I also make homemade fly traps, and I just use a glass jar and I use some wax paper and I make a little funnel and I put bait in the bottom of it and I hang it from trees, and that works great. At the end of it, I have to wash out the glass jar and put it in the recycle, and it doesn't actually hold that many flies. So someone in a women in agriculture group I'm in who had a horse barn recommended a fly trap that's easy to use, it's reusable, and it catches large quantities of flies. And she said at the end of it, when it fills up with flies, she just dumps them in her poultry run. You can just upend it and then it's all food for your poultry. I will say ducks, and also I've seen my turkeys do it, will catch flies out of the air and eat them. They love to eat them if they can get a hold of them. So I ordered this. I'm gonna show you what it looks like and how to set it up. But really what I wanna do is explain how to bait it, because there's all kinds of easy DIY fly traps. There's all kinds you can purchase. The key is in the bait. Okay, so the brand is not really important. As I said, it's really the bait that you use. So let me open this up here and I'll link to the place that I got it down below in the description, but I'm not here to plug a product. Like, I haven't been, these folks haven't sponsored me in any way. So let me show you what it looks like. It's very, very simple design, and you could probably make something yourself. Just had a busy couple of weeks dealing with especially injured dog who needed surgery yesterday. So this is the trap. It's very, very, very simple. And there's a little container here that you put the bait in, and it'll hang in here. So it's very simple construction. And here's the secret. You want to use the grossest bait you can find. A lot of posts will talk about how you should use rotten fruit. You should put a little bit of molasses in. You should put a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That's well and good if what you're catching is fruit flies, which are attracted to the smell of fermenting fruit. If you want to catch flies around your livestock, let's think for a moment. Let's do that permaculture observe and interact. What are those flies interested in? They're interested in the manure of your horses, of your cows, of your poultry. So the things you want to bait your traps with are poop and raw meat. So I have a precious little share of our cow share here, raw meat. It's going to get really stinky and disgusting over the next couple days. It might smell bad from the back of your house, but it is worth it because it will catch a ton of flies. So I'm gonna put the raw meat in here, put a little scoop. I'm gonna go down and get a stick and I'm gonna scoop up some chicken poop and put it in here, and then a little bit of water, and you mix it together. In 2 or 3 days, it'll stink to high heaven, and this will be filling up with flies. So I'm gonna go get it set up. I'm hanging my trap here in a pear tree. You can see I have a homemade trap here. I have a homemade trap over there. Look at all the flies in the bottom of that. You don't want to hang your trap super high. Think about where the flies tend to congregate. It is just a couple of feet in the air. So I'm gonna keep it out of range of these ladies, but you don't want it super high up in the tree. So I have my little dish of turkey poop and raw meat, and I'm gonna put a couple of drops of water in it, and it's gonna get real nasty over the next few days. But first, let me show you how I hook this into place. I have to put this dish up here where poultry aren't gonna go for a little hook here. I'm gonna go up here and I wanna hook it onto this hook here. And you see how it makes a little funnel. And then there's a little place to rest the bowl. Well, except I'm caught here. There we go. There's a little place to rest the bowl. So flies come up through here. They go up through this hole here and come up into here, and then they can't figure out how to escape. Then they're trapped and they die. When that gets full, I can just dump it out for the birds to eat. I'm gonna have to put down the camera in order to get this dish in, so give me just... Here's my finished trap here in the food forest. Again, you can see the homemade trap here, and you can see this trap hanging just a few feet off the ground. The dish here with the turkey poop and a little raw meat and a little bit of water is in here. The flies will come up in here, go up and come down and get trapped in this funnel. It's gonna stink to high heaven in about 2 or 3 days, and then it'll really start working well. And we will compare to, again, this is a trap I made with just a jar, some string, and some wax paper. You can see how many flies it's caught in the last few days. Again, that just had a little bit of raw meat. The stinkier the bait, the better. Those are the two main takeaways I want you guys to take from this video. The stinkier the bait, the better. You can put a shrimp in there, put some raw beef, put some bird poop, stinky raw meat, and then put a little bit of water in. And then the second thing is don't hang it too high in the tree. And we'll check back soon. All right, this is about 36 hours after I put the trap out here. You can see how readily the pesky houseflies are attracted to it. There's a few black soldier flies in there as well, but mostly it's those larger flies I really don't want in my garden and are attracted by the poultry and the hot summer weather. So thank you for watching. If you are struggling with things in your permaculture garden that you would like to restore balance to and you're finding it's just not possible, that doesn't mean that you're a failure as a permaculturist. It doesn't mean that your system is failing. You need to zoom in and zoom out and realize that your system exists within a greater context. And sometimes there are pressures coming from outside our system that make it really difficult to restore balance. As much as I would love a thriving amphibian community here, as much as I would love to increase the songbird population here, and I have a really good population of songbirds, I can't control the greater problems in my community, in my state, in the United States, within the migration zones of our songbirds, to help bolster those populations to what they should be. I can do my small part as best that I can, but I also need to have a measure of understanding for myself and my system, and a measure of grace when I can't make everything perfect. I need to not be hard on myself, and I need to look realistically at what the other pressures are that are keeping my system from being perfectly in balance, and saying, okay, what is the solution I can use that reduces harm? I had a video a while back about good, better, best. If best is not achievable for any number of reasons, what is the better solution that I can strive for? For me, using insecticides in my garden is never going to be even a good solution. I'm going to strive for those solutions that use permaculture principles, that use a mindset of abundance, and are the better solutions, even if I can't do best. And for me, this feels like a better solution. So I am targeting the flies in my garden. I am mimicking the behavior of predators in that I am trapping and consuming flies without having a greater impact outside of this one narrow zone. I can pretend that my trap is a frog's body, a frog's stomach, and that my trap is behaving as an artificial frog for me. I'm not having a negative impact on other species. I'm not in any way doing anything except bringing a balance back to the population. I'm introducing an artificial check on my fly population because I can't introduce a biological check that is a natural one any better than I've already done. So I hope that you can think about your solutions that way. I hope you can think about your system in the context of greater systems, and I hope that you have success in controlling the fly populations in your garden this summer and autumn. I'll be back very soon. Loads coming out in the next week. It's just such a busy time of year and a really exciting time of year. Again, that time of transition that I really, really love. So I hope you are staying well and safe, and I'll be back very soon. Thanks.